Welcome to episode 50 of What If Civilization Started Over. In the last episode, we saw the ending of World War V. I have already drawn up the peace treaty for it. This might take the whole episode, but there are a couple other events that I'm going to go through. But yeah, let's just get started. Alright. Alright. So, Alaska's going to be getting pretty much all of their land back. The only lands they don't get back is down in the far or south areas here. But that's okay because they do get other lands elsewhere. Being like right in here in Canada. Alright, this British Columbia country. They get these. Also, I'm still yet to give them a capital. But that's gonna be something we go through later. Alright, this California nation, or not California. They used to be California. This Oregon nation. They get they get quite a bit of land out of the um, Canadians. They get all this, quite a lot. Let's get the tiny bit up there. Mm. Now the West Mexican country. They get quite a bit too. And by quite a bit, I mean quite a bit, as you can tell. You get all of that, plus I didn't draw that part off. I always forget one small part. Alright. So yeah, the West Mexicans they getting like this. Alright. Alright, so they get that in Mexico. Let's just move to what Mexico gets out of the war. They still they're actually they didn't actually lose any land to Caribbean. That was part of like the agreement they came to. But Mexico did kind of lose a lot of land to the these guys. So yeah, they did still lose land, like a lot of countries did. And out of the entire world, I believe there are only two countries, or yeah, two countries that do not exist anymore, or four countries that do not exist anymore. I think it's four countries actually. There's a lot of them. All right. So yeah, West Mexico is now a lot more than West Mexico. Um, I don't know what to really call them because this isn't just what West Mexico is like this section down here only. And they obviously own a lot of land that's outside of that. So yeah, if you guys get like a better name for them, and just not something like Republic of West Mexico, but like a different like territory, because I'm not gonna call them the Green Team. That's just boring. Who would ever do that? All right. Uh, Caribbean country, they do still get quite a lot of land. Firstly, they get like all of Florida, and then they get the entire Central American country. Then they get quite a lot of Venezuela. In fact, they get all the way down to there. And yeah, decently powerful country you've got going on there. All right, for America, yeah, they are just this now. They kind of small, just a bit tiny. Did I didn't put a color there. I had thought I did. We're gonna save that mess for later. Alright. So it, oh, the color for them in a second. I know what color I was gonna like do. I actually don't know if it'll look good for that area. That border does not look very good at all. Oh, alright. So we got them. Um, so this orange country here, part of the peace treaty is they lose this to this new sign country that, or the sign Canadian country that's created. But they also gain land, aka I didn't just want to like kind of randomly give that up. Also, we see Central Canada, despite being like a major loser in the war, they gain some land. They don't have a net gain, a positive net gain, but oh wait, that is the color right there. All right, so here we have our like Michigan country. Um, firstly, I'm gonna get this guy done. All right, so now our like Michigan country. This is kind of, or this is gonna be chaotic. So actually, we do see the green team still remains, and we will see that with almost every one of these countries except for one. Um, so we see this country is now called Superior, and also, we'll do that later. If you were gonna say that, if you're trying to guess that they moved their capital, well, you would be correct. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna give these guys no. Oh, so yeah, we see a new province is created here, I guess. I just forgot to draw it in. I created a few new provinces around the map. Um, Lake Michigan's still gonna have access to Lake Huron. Right. Maybe be on the right layer when you're trying to grab a color. Alright, so Lake Huron country, they get quite a bit of land too. Now they have all this. Almost pretty much all of the rebellions or and the Lake Superior country are equal-ish on power. Um, there's not really a big difference in power between them. At least not one that I could name out. I guess like Michigan's kind of, or actually, Lake Michigan is like the strongest of them, but not by a whole lot. It would then be followed by the Lake Superior country, aka the OG Green country. Um, and probably Niagara. I don't know. I don't really know what these, to be honest. These two countries here, they came back. Yay. And also this red country gained quite a bit of land. You did not gain much land at all. You gained 3 pixels. And this guy's back. Yep, they got the exclave back somehow. Alright. This yellow team gets a lot of land as well. Alright. Um, they do get those islands. Alright. Also, this is the map before, and this is the occupation zone, and then when we get to the end of this, let's see what the map looked like then. Alright, we see this gold color country forming too. And yeah. Alright, so all of these countries will get capitals at the end of the episode, and some of them may even switch their capital cities. Uh, I mean, we pretty much already did this, but alright, Brazil gets these islands, and the first of the countries to completely disappear is this Guyana-ish country that existed here. I don't know what to call them, but yeah, they're gone. They is long gone. And we also see kind of like a Caribbean empire almost forming. Um, all right. Over here, yeah. These guys actually still exist. That wasn't on your. I don't know. I don't know what to call it. Bet you didn't think that would happen. There, I'll just put it at that. All right. Tanzania lost the war, got like a crap ton of land. I mean, they didn't really lose the war, did they? Then I mean, they kind of did, but it's not like Caucasia in Crystal's view or WICSO. My God, I still should have won that war so much faster. It was like 5v1. The strongest country in the world versus second strongest, and like everyone else was also in like the top 10 strongest. It's like, how did he not? How did it take like 40 something years? So yes, I noticed I missed a lot of uh, pieces, bits and pieces here. All right. So this purple country's back, but so is Ethiopia. E- Very slightly darker Ethiopia than their original, because some people had to ruin a certain number. All right. The gold team here, they actually got a lot of land too, and they chill with this green country. They just divided up South Africa between them. Obviously, they're gonna keep Madagascar to themselves. Doesn't make sense for them to, for these guys to get Madagascar. They didn't do anything there. Ethiopia lost the war. Doesn't make sense for them to get anything out of Madagascar. So yeah, they get Madagascar all to themselves. Alright. Alright, so now Golden Mozambique is also here. Um, let's do this weird color country. Yep, that's all I get. Alright, these guys. They joined the war, like, at the very end of it, but, they did it for, kind of unknown, like, for their overall goal is kind of unknown. Obviously, they're getting land, so, I mean, that's always one goal. I mean, who doesn't want more land? And at that point, it's practically free, too. Also, you'll notice, like, these colored dots in countries that were, like, completely taken over in the war. That's just to make things easier for me. I'm gonna do this every time now, probably. Maybe. Possibly. Alright. It's just so I keep the color. Also, it's something very dumb on my part. I did not save the Part 49 map before I started working on the peace treaty. So by the time I realized I was already done with the peace treaty, so I had to go and undo the entire peace treaty. And then I didn't save the peace treaty. So I just had to go back and save the whole peace treaty again. But then I realized I accidentally messed something up like halfway through it. So I had to redo the peace treaty from there. Alright. Now coming over here, Gibraltar, they won the war, but they lost the war. At the end of the war, their capital was captured. Um, oh, something else you guys might want to know this. Um, actually, you will want to know this for later episodes. This is where the peace treaty was held, right in the capital of Iceland. Iceland was the only neutral country in Europe, um, during this war. And there was also only one neutral country in all of North America, being Greenland. In South America, there was actually only three countries actively at war, maybe four at the end of the war with these guys. But these two never fought. In Africa, it was kind of. I don't think there was actually a single country in Africa that wasn't involved in the war, other than this pink country right here. And then Oceania, this like purpley pink country, and then there's also the Siberians. That's like that's like pretty much the only countries that weren't involved in this war. There was not many countries that were involved in this war. All right, back to the peace treaty. All right, so here we see a new Egypt Egypt kind of country forming. They actually have a lot of land from the Great Empire, which is pretty good for them, if you ask me. Alright, alright, so this new big countries here. Also, these guys down here, they're kind of mad this country exists. They wanted some, like, coastline, but, they didn't get it from these guys. And now that Egypt is here, and Egypt is also just spawned in, and they're already stronger than these guys, which is honestly embarrassing. Alright, Yemen, they just get that. Alright, these guys here, the um, purple, now they're Mesopotamian country. Um, big, boy, big country. Alright, let's talk about the Great Empire now. Obviously, it's gone. third country to be completely gone in this war. Or wait, second or third? No, no, this is the fourth, and I believe the last. It's not the last. No, it's not the last. All right. So all right. So Blue Anatolia, they were kind of sort of the founders of the Great Empire. Um, but they were like they were kind of forced to start it. Um, Initially, what had happened was the Purple Anatolian country in Caucasia had funded rebellions inside the Blue Team, and those rebellions like took over the country, and then they switched the government that was pro-Caucasian, pro everybody else, because all of the other five countries hated the Blue Team. Um, yeah, yes, so like they kind of just restarted the government, if you want to call it that. Um, they made it in favor of them so that they could create the giant union. But then they made it look like the Blue Anatolian country started the union so that they could take the blame for it. Um, Actually pretty smart. It seems like they knew that it was gonna collapse at some point, like every great empire does. Actually they had they didn't actually know about it, but they lived through the collapse of the first they lived through the first collapse of an empire before it happened, before like everything over here happened. This blue country here, want like they once ruled over most of this land. But all right, that's enough yapping. All right, the purple team, they don't get a whole lot really, other than what they kind of have here. And also some of you may be wondering, like, when they're an orange country down here, yeah, they just moved down to Egypt. This is the same color as the one that was up here. They're not, they don't exist anymore. And I don't plan on having them exist up here for maybe forever. I actually don't know. I don't have much of the series planned out, much more than like 40 episodes, which I mean, like, that's still a lot, but. Alright, Russia, you get all of this and that. So, Russia got a lot of their land, or a lot of land. Russia is a big boy now. They also get Estonia back. Sorry, Estonia wasn't forced out, but they do lose some land out here, which we'll get to in a second. Um, but let's talk about the Adriatic Union instead. Um, it almost seems like they're a luck charm. I do believe they have won every war that they've been a part of. World War One was actually when they formed. It was in the midst of War, like as World War One was ending, they formed. I don't know, it's kind of weird. You gotta go rewatch it. I'm not gonna explain everything. But World War Two, they won the war, but they still had to like give up their colonies and stuff. It's like it was a like it was a win, but at the same time, like it came at a cost. So yeah. Um and then World War Three, I mean, look at them now. War of the Historics was actually their best win so far, even though their biggest ally kinda lost. Alright. We're gonna come over to Caucasia real quick, because they got a little bit of land out here, including that one little pixel. Caspia, they probably got that and then that. There. Also, Port Orange Emirati Nation gained absolutely zero land from this. They're the only one of the last. They're the only one of the 6 RPGAU members that did, which is kind of sad. So sad for them. All right. But yeah, the Great Empire has fully collapsed, and as the leader was flying to the capital of Iceland, um, something happened while they were flying over Swiss territory. Because of course it's going to be flying over Swiss territory. At the time, it was Swiss territory up in here, um, but still Swiss territory. But a little something happened, and the plane crashed, and everyone aboard the plane died. And that was a lot of the Great Empire's high-ranking officials. And that was what actually sparked, or like first sparked the Caspian rebellions. They didn't have a leader. They were in a world. They were in the Third World War as a major player in it. Wasn't actually. It was actually looking decently good for them, but still, they had their military all over, and it did or were getting invaded out here. So it wasn't entirely all good for them. Um, but yeah, it just led to revolts, and then they got funded, and yeah. Also, is it just me, or is it kind of funny that like this wasn't planned or anything at all? We've got one, two, three, four, five, 6 members of the RPGAU left. One, two, three, four, five, 6 members of the Great Empire. Coincidence? Yes. I mean, I'm practically God here. If I say it's a coincidence, it's a coincidence. Alright, Germany. They rebelled. No, we'll talk about this. What? Why is that the Great Empire's color? Or is that this color? No, I think that's the Great. What? Okay. Oh, that's the sea color. Oh, I'm dumb. Alright. This eastern. Ah, yes, very, very eastern Germany we have here. West Germany will take over all of this. So they got some land out of the war. They're not alone, as their kind of sort of hated twin also got land, which includes those 2 islands. Poor Denmark did not get land. Don't worry, Denmark's gonna have a comeback, probably, maybe, possibly not. All right. Um, we see 2 North France countries now. The real North France is these guys. Yes, the real North France is the old North France. That is correct. Like the one that lasted like 2 episodes. Old North France. The I said this before because I've used this country as a color, or this color as a country before. Um, these guys did exist before. They were the original color for this country, but yeah, obviously I changed the color because I changed the color of the Dutch, and also West French. They used to be a color more like this. Um, so yeah, let's talk about Ireland for a second. No, there is not a new government. I am just changing the color because um these two look kind of similar, and I don't want that. I want this just could be different. Way back there was a Scot. There's a Northern English country, kind of Scottish. that was right here, and it was this color. Also, England joins this thing. Wait a minute. Red Ireland uniting all of the British Isles. That seems a bit familiar, doesn't it? Okay, just making sure this is the right thing. All right. Well, enough of or whatever that would be. Enough of that. The Dutch, they're finally actually gonna have a comeback, aren't they? They won't. Trust me. I'm sorry, anyone that's a Dutch or a fan of these Dutch, they are not gonna have their comeback. At least not for a long, 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 long while. Don't worry, you'll see it eventually. Alright, we see the slime country coming back too. They were the OG color for the Italians. Um, I could have used the OG color for the Italians. Alright, not the OG color, the color that the Italians had. And this blue country also came back. Um, Pretty much these five countries are all pretty equal in strength. However, we're going to see one thing that deters Switzerland from invading them. Because Switzerland is stronger out of the five. And if you're thinking it's alliance, no, it is not. Or is it? I keep saying something and then like giving it away, and I need to stop doing that. Like eventually I'm gonna ruin the whole plot of the series doing that. I know it. Alright, real quick thing about the Catalonians. They kind of gave up land over here. Um, I I should have stopped. I shouldn't have stopped doing the 3D over here. But yeah, they kind of like gave up some land over here so they could get more land out here. But then they also have to give up land to get some land out here, and they have to give up Sardinia. So I mean, we kind of have an Italian country now, ish. It's just a big union, but still. Alright. Also, Gibraltar gets this little bit here. And then we see this Dark Cyan team coming back. Portugal's back. Portugal fans rejoice. Actually, don't. The, you're weak. You're weaker than some of these countries. Alright, this line team up here. Let's be honest, who actually likes these guys? I don't even think anyone does. Alright. The Baltic country actually pretty much gets out of here unharmed. Good for them. Other than the little bit of land they lost there, but that's okay. You win some, you lose some. Sometimes you get absolutely destroyed when you do lose, and then you don't exist anymore. Okay, then just you can rebel, and only then can you rebel. Not when you're getting paid by someone outside of the viewer WICSO to rebel in only the countries that someone doesn't like, even when they're like extremely stable and just joined the war. Also, yes, Denmark still owns these islands, even though they were annexed by Switzerland a while back. Um, yeah. All right. Let's do the Persians. Um, Fairly simple there, at least in my book. This gold team also pretty simple. Don't, they do have areas where they kind of get. Hold up, wait a minute. Okay, why did that looks? No, I don't like that. Alright, well, I'm going to have to fix that eventually because I didn't realize that. That looks not good. Alright, down here, you're never gonna believe it. Yeah, I made a new province here to make things a lot easier right here. Because at this point where I lost map, where I lost the peace treaty. So, yeah, I was just kind of lazy. I mean, I'm recording this at 2 in the morning. What do you expect? I'm gonna be lazy. I'm gonna cut corners. It's 2 in the morning. Alright, Pakistan. They get that. They do not get all of India's plains. They get some, but not all. Alright. Um, in, for India, they swapped sides at the end of the war. They actually were supposed to they were actually supposed to lose a lot of land. That was initially going to be the plan, but then they swapped sides and started fighting against Bangladesh. And get that got them to gain some land. Speaking of Bangladesh, this is Bangladesh now. Hello, tiny. Well, I mean, actually, they're not really that tiny. There's definitely a lot of much smaller countries in the world. Alright. We see this new dark blue kind of color country. Right. South China here. Yes, they have some awkward-ish borders. Sorry about that. All right. This light blue country they once visited a while back too. They do have some not very good-looking borders, but it'll be fine. All right. Myanmar loses like that and that and that. Not Myanmar. Why do I keep saying Myanmar? That is not Myanmar right there. That's Bangladesh. Alright. I still have no idea why I have that capital there. But alright. Also like by call, like really stepped up their game this war. Alright. In fact, so much that this is probably I think this is their territory at peak. Either way, they now have coastal access, which is big buff. Also, I just realized while making the peace treaty, China hasn't had coastline the entire war. China never had coastline during World War III. I don't know if it's just me that finds that kind of weird, but in fact, they still don't have coastline. Alright. Um, oh yeah, South China. They get that too. Alright, Central China did something weird. So you know how they like kinda hate the Hong Kong country? Yeah, well they just replaced the government here. So now they don't really hate it as much because they have it as like it's practically a puppet state, although it's not. Um, but like it's a very pro Central Chinese government. Yeah. All right. Korea. So, if I did not really say this at the end of the last episode, Korea really got away pretty well in this war compared to the other great powers. I mean, one of them ceases to exist. One of them's like at their territorial lowest. One of them is very, very tiny, and one of them is like, I mean, they're not doing too swell here. Um, so like Korea got away pretty well in this war, even better than their allies, which is like insane. All right, so we have two more parts of this peace treaty left. I think. I know I'm forgetting something. Do I know where it is? No. Do I actually know I'm forgetting something? Also no. All right, Sumatra gets Thailand, and then Australia. Right, Australia, uniting all of Australia and New Zealand. Sounds familiar. Hmm. Do I know why I'm doing this instead of using the paint bucket? No. Should I probably be using the paint bucket? Probably. Do I want to? No. Especially not for New Zealand. Alright. Yes, this is Catalonian. No, this is not Blue Australia. This is Red Australia. Alright. Dang it. Alright. Alright. So, there's our peace treaty for the war. I think. See, I'm not missing anything in North America. Yeah, I don't think I'm missing anything. Alright, so we're actually going to come back to episode 45 without the nukes. Um, if you can see the nuclear bombings happened. Pretend they didn't. We're gonna go to this here. So, right before the war started, I'm not going to include the alliances as the power rankings, but let's do this. So, right before the war started, the strongest country in the world was still the Great Lakes Empire, still followed by the Great Empire, and also still followed by Ethiopia. Number four, Korea got to number four at this point. Number five happened to be America, and in sixth was China. Number seventh, or number seventh, number seven, we come over to Switzerland. And for number eight, we can, uh, wait, number eight, we can take a trip down to these guys down here. Number nine, at this point, number nine, I'm going to actually have to give over to Bangladesh. However, number 10 will easily come up to the Adriatic Union. 11 will shortly be followed by Sweden. And not far behind in 12th is Catalonia. However, for 13th, we come. No, not them. For 13th, we head over to Russia. They're still experiencing instability over here at this point, which is the only reason why they're in 13th. Is just because this also includes stability. But for 14th is Gibraltar. 15th, we go to Galicia, or not Galicia, Andalusia. 16th heads up to West France. 17th goes to Galicia. 18th actually goes to these guys here first. Then in 19th, we have this South Chinese country. And lastly, in 20th, we come down, and it's actually South Africa. So, those were the rankings right before World War III, aka the War of the Historics. Now let's do world power rankings on the new map. So, number one is actually pretty contested. There's quite a few countries I might put at number one. However, the country I'm gonna have to give it to is going to be the Adriatic Union. The top, like, maybe six countries are actually pretty highly contested. So, we'll just split through them. Two goes to West Africa, three goes to Mozambique, four, no, actually, four is these guys out here, five is that country, and down for sixth, we go to Red Australia. Their capital's right there. Alright, now that the top six, actually, it's the top seven. Alright, the top seven are out of the way. Those ones are the ones, they're all pretty decently contested with each other. Um, and actually, top eight are pretty contested. Maybe even top nine with these guys and top 10 with Korea. Like, it's actually really contested at this point. Oh, alright, we're gonna redo this. So, number one is actually Sumatra down here. They're like the only country in this war that didn't really lose land, didn't have to spend a whole lot of their supplies, and actually, like, still got away with quite a lot. And also or decently developed land. Number two does go to the Adriatic Union. They're kind of similar in strength. Actually, number one is actually more easily these guys. But the from honestly, it's gonna be from 2 to 9 are gonna be pretty contested. Yeah. Actually, it's gonna be even more than that. Like, a lot of the power rankings are gonna be pretty contested for a bit, and then it kind of gets a bit more divided. Number one is pretty easy though. So we got four down there, five is over here. The real six is there. Seventh up here. Alright. Yeah. Uh eighth actually right here. And these power rankings, like, you could easily say, oh, this one's just different. It should be this one. And yeah, I probably could agree with you. Alright. You see Caribbean country coming in ninth. This, like, South Chinese country is in 10th. Russia is going to be the one coming in 11th, and Korea in 12th, as they did hold on to a lot of their really good land. 13th goes over to Egypt, who I didn't give a capital. And 14th, I could see being Brazil. At 13th is where it stopped being a bit contested. Oh, dang it. Alright, I forgot to do that. Forgot to add tech country. Alright, so just erase that. Alright, 13th is these guys. It should these guys need to be higher up on here. But like I said, like 2 through 13 is pretty contested. Um, so actually these guys are just gonna be in 15th. 16th goes up to Lake Baikal. They just don't have a lot of developable land, really much. Alright, 16th, um, 17th, 18th, 19th are all right here. Mm, Poor Galicia, they're not gonna make it this time. I think this is the first time Galicia has not made it into the power rankings. Alright. But yeah, those are the kind of rough power rankings. I'm gonna do capitals, and I've been recording for quite a while, so after I do a little bit with capitals, that'll be it. Even though um there is one other thing I wanted to do this episode. But alright, let's see, where does this start? This country here. Your new capital. Actually, your new capital is down here. I think your capital used to be there. Yours, right there's something. No, wait. Also, I think they were Twin City capitals. Alright. I yes, I don't remember their capitals. Lake Michigan's is actually not going to be on Lake Michigan, unlike every other one of the um countries. Huron's is right on the Huron. Erie's is right near where Detroit is. Niagara or Ontario is gonna be right there. New York's is obviously gonna be in New York, even though they definitely own a lot more than New York, and they don't even own all of New York. Alright, the Hudson is gonna be right there. These guys don't need a capital. You don't need a capital. You only have one major city to be your capital. Um, you need a capital. Alright, you do not need to be there as a capital. Then, Superior, you moved your capital. And they just moved it up to right here because they don't, they fear they're gonna get invaded by the, Lake Michigan country. They probably won't. These countries are kind of trying to set up, except for the Lake Michigan country, which is already actually kind of set up, and then Lake Superior. Alright. Um, over here, your capital stays. Yours does not. Your capital stays. Yours is there. Your capital is there. You only have that major city for your capital. You guys have a seventh capital. Um, let's see, Adriatic Union that stays. Your capital is here. Your actual capital, I think, was right there. Crimea, your capital there. I think. I don't remember capitals. No, actually, I think your capital was over here. I should keep better track of my countries. Alright, Germany, your capital's there. Finland does not exist anymore. Alright, you three need capitals. Caucasia, your capital is gonna be right here now. They don't want to get back invaded again by the blue team because they are actually weaker than the blue team. Blue team, you do not have your capital there. Alright, Caspia, your capital is there. Don't think anyone over here needs capital other than these two. You need a capital though. Yours is gonna be right there. Yellow team. Yours is gonna be in the same major city it used to be because that used to be your only major city. Korea, you do not. Oh, I see. I told you I missed something. I knew I missed something. All right. Just a little bit of land change right here. It was all. Um, the rebellions kind of took land that would probably better belong to the other, following the province map. Also, Korea seems to own a bit of land right there. Also, they do not own that island anymore. No, nor do they own that island. Right. Um. Let's see. Who else may need a capital? Uh, you don't need a capital. You need less capitals. Get rid of that. I just got rid of us. My bad. Mm. I gotta add a capital back for Japan, don't I? Honestly, I more so hope I do. I don't think there was a country there. There was indeed a country right here. There was also indeed a country up here. And okay. So your capital is right there. Capital is right there. Capital is right there. Alright, I probably missed someone somewhere. You can get rid of two capitals, three capitals here. Oh yeah, I missed the African countries up there. And Egypt. Alright, yep, I missed all of you. You go there. Your capital, I think, was this one right here. Your capital is probably that one right there. Egypt, your capital is right there. Alright, I think that's it for choosing capitals other than remove the English capital. Also give Denmark a capital. They might want one. I don't know, just a hunch. Alright, I think that is it for capitals, though. You guys got a capital. You all got a capital. You got a capital. And you did not. Alright, and that's it for capitals. Alright, so that'll do it for today's episode as well. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.